Hello, I'm John Hemingway. Welcome back to Shropshire, and I'm in the south of the county today, in amongst what Houseman famously described as his blue remembered hills. Well, I don't know about blue. They look brown to me. Everything looks brown at the moment. The hills, the fields, the verges. There's a irrigation reservoir near my house, and that is brown. Why? Because after 2 years of incessant rain, the sky has apparently dried up. And as livestock farmers, that is going to be causing an increasingly bigger headache for you as we come into the autumn. So stick with me and let's have a think about what we might be able to do to mitigate the effects of this drought on your ewes. So let's talk about flushing. What is flushing? It is not just getting your ewes to put weight on in the run up to tupping. Don't make that mistake. It's more nuanced than that. Flushing is the practice of bringing your ewe's body condition score up to where it should be for the start of tupping if they need it. And the ideal body condition score for ewes at tupping is 3 to 3.5 if it's a lowland ewe, or 2.5 to 3 for hill ewes. Now, if we do that and we have those using the correct energy balance, it's going to be more likely that they go on to have a prolific ovulation, more eggs produced by the ovaries, and that means higher likelihood of twins, which is what we want. Now, the important phrase there was if they need it. If your ewes are already in the ideal body condition score, there is no benefit to be had by getting them to put weight on beyond that. You just end up with fat ewes, and that costs you money in the supplementary feed that you've given them, and they're more likely to go on to have metabolic issues around lambing. We're talking about twin lamb disease and that sort of thing. Now, as you can appreciate, the issue that we're running into this year is that we've currently got ewes who need to put body condition on before they go to the tup, and ordinarily we rely on that autumn flush of grass to provide a high energy forage for those ewes to eat and gain weight on. It doesn't look as though that is coming, so we are going to have to make a plan. Before we get into your options for flushing, let me just throw a few figures at you so you have an idea of the magnitude of the issue that we're facing. Okay, now a lowland ewe that is neither pregnant nor lactating is going to have a maintenance energy requirement of about 8.5 to 9 megajoules of energy. That is the amount of energy she has to eat per day just to tick over, to live day to day. Okay, and that's fine. She will provide herself with that from pretty poor quality forage, or like this sort of stuff. These are sheep after all, let's not lose sight of that. But the issue comes when we need those ewes to gain weight, and that means we have to feed them above maintenance. Now, if we have a good flush of grass that comes through, that grass in the autumn could be 11 or 11.5 megajoules of energy per kilo, and that is enough for them to be putting weight on, so long as that grass comes through soon enough after weaning. So one body condition score in a ewe, let's take that as an example. We've got ewes that have body condition score 2.5, we need them to be 3.5 for tupping. A body condition score is about 10 to 12% of that ewe's adult weight. So if we need them to put that on, they'll need to gain 7 to 8 kilograms, okay? Now, every kilogram that ewe needs to gain equates to about 100 megajoules of energy that she needs to take on board on top of her maintenance requirement, and that is a lot. Okay, so to put that in a context you'll be familiar with, if we wanted a ewe to gain 7 kilos, we would need her to eat the equivalent of about 65 kilograms of a standard ewe nut on top of her maintenance requirement. So just to be clear, I am not recommending that you drop 65 kilos of cake in front of each of your ewes tomorrow, because of course if you do that, they will die. So what are your actual options? Well, first, you need to body condition score your ewes. You need to know how much weight they need to gain between now and tupping, okay? And if you haven't body condition scored them, you do not have that information. So your options for feeding, well, if you've got access to very high energy forage, silage, proper silage that is sort of 11 or 12 megajoules of energy per kilo or more, then of course, by all means, use that. But I would recommend still doing the sums to make sure that that is going to supply them what they need above maintenance to gain the weight that they need to. Next, we've got energy lick buckets, and I do not want to upset anybody who uses or manufactures energy lick buckets, but while they are convenient, they do have several pitfalls. First is that they're fed, on a non-rationed basis. You just put them out and you replace them when they're empty. The other thing that we can be relatively sure about with lick buckets is that the amount that each ewe gets from them is not uniform, okay? They also often work out more expensive than feeding concentrate in the long run. And that brings us on to the third option, which is concentrate. And I know that it is still expensive. However, we know what forage we have available. If we've got no grass, we know what we're putting out for them, and we get an analysis done on that. We talk about this over and over again. It is so cheap, just get it done. So we know that we're putting out haylage and that it's got an energy value of X, okay? We can work out very easily then how much concentrate we need to feed per day for them to put the weight on that they require. It is going to be a cost, but I anticipate that scanning this year is going to be lower than it normally would be because people are not going to be flushing their ewes effectively. What this means is less lambs next year, which probably will mean that the price remains very strong. So my recommendation, to cut a long story short, is to look at the forage you have available. Get your vet or your nutritionist to do the maths for you, or you can do it yourself with the guidance in this book, which we've recommended before, Feeding the Ewe. It's free online to get, and there is a section in there on feeding ewes between weaning and mating. Work out how much you need to supplement, and if that means buying concentrates to get those ewes up to the correct body condition score, then do that. It will pay you back when it comes to scanning time. So that's it from me on flushing your ewes, a very important topic at the moment. I hope that was useful and I hope it was interesting. I will be along with another video very soon, and I do hope to see you there. Bye.